Hello everyone, and thank you for stopping by to this video where I'll go through the Iron Man Mk50 Nano Weapon Set Avengers Endgame S.H.Figuarts. So it's a bit of a mouthful for the actual product, but there you go. So this is weapon set number 2, which comes with different sorts of accessories for the Iron Man Mk50 compared to weapon set number 1, which was dubbed with the Avengers Infinity War S.H.Figuarts line. I don't know why that is, but there you go. Here is the packaging though, which is a nice crisp white, which all the Avengers Endgame figures use so far. So you can see the big window display, which shows the figure quite well, along with the extra parts that he has. Now these parts here are pretty typical of most Iron Man S.H.Figuarts figures, so they should be pretty known to you by now if you collect the Iron Man figures or if you've seen them about. But then we'll go through all the other parts that he comes with, and this one, I'm assuming, just like the weapon set 1, doesn't come with the regular parts, so like actual regular hands or regular feet. I mean, you can see he gets regular arms here, but there might be some tweaks to them anyway. I mean, at least the upper arms are different, so maybe it doesn't come with regular upper arms. But that's the front of the packaging. Then onto the side, then it's just the Iron Man Mk50 text. Onto the top is, again, the text. And then on the back has some cool photos of the figure itself. So he comes with these beam cannon things, and then some extra kind of wings, and then these extra cannons, which he didn't come with neither in the base form or the weapon set number 1. This is the regular figure, and I'm going to assume this text here just says regular Mk50 figure needs to be purchased separately, which by the way is very expensive to get a hold of on its own right now. Onto the other side is just again the text, but also has the hologram sticker here, which indicates if it's a legit, not always the definitive answer if it's a legit figure, but a good place to start. And then on the bottom is just customer support information. So let's get this thing open. And here is the Iron Man Mk50 Nano Weapon Set 2 out of the box. Now you can see he comes with quite a few different small parts, so you want to keep an eye on all of that so you don't lose them. So I'm going to go through the parts and then the figure itself. So quickly, let's go through the effect parts, which are pretty standard for most Iron Man figures. I've covered a few Iron Man figures in the past, so these should be recognizable to you. So you get blasters for the feet. These just peg into the bottom of the soles. These come with the same sort of blue coloration that the other Mk50 S.H.Figuarts come with. Comes with 2 small pieces for his hands, and these just plug into the relevant hand, which I'll show you in just a moment. So I'll put that just there. And then he comes with a longer variant, like so. Again, same coloration, and then these are also a bit soft. Yours may come a little bit curved like that when you take it out of the box. So those are the effect parts. Then onto his hands. So he comes with a pair, which, as I said, are for the effect parts. So this has a little peg sticking out. So you grab either one that you want. I've got the long one, and you just slot it in. And that's how it looks. And of course on the other side you've got the detail of the gold knuckles for both hands, like so. So that's one pair of hands. Then the other pair of hands are open palm, gripping hands, loose grip hands, and you can see the white palm inside, which the peg one didn't have. And then same, then you have the details on the other side. Final pair of hands are just karate chop hands, flat palm, like so. Again, these sets of hands are pretty familiar and pretty standard for the majority of S.H.Figuarts. There's usually a slight variance in if you get this hand or not, like as relaxed as this or slightly more relaxed. But that's about it. Then we come to these parts laying about here. So actually they are used for different things. So you can see the 2 cannons here for each hand. He comes with new armor replacement parts. So this is regular armor, which if you pay attention to his thighs, you can see protruding bits where my fingers are pointing, so these replace that. These are actually for the shoulders because they replace these bits here. Comes with back plate and then a fin type of wing piece as well. So I'll give you a closer look of these. So here are the 2 cannons, and these are the same actually. This is the back side, this is the front side, so I'll show you both here. And then have this little handle coming out as well. It's not like too flimsy, so it shouldn't snap or anything, but of course anything that sticks out on action figures, just keep that in mind. These look pretty good. They have this sort of alien tech kind of structure and curve to them that I find, but they look nice. Same sort of red and gold as the main suit of armor. They also have little markings inside that tell you if it's R for right side or L for the left arm, and then they're shaped accordingly, so you shouldn't mix them up. I'll show you how to put those on later on in the video. The two thigh armor pieces that I mentioned are just like this, and I'll show you how to change those out. This is part of his kneecap bit. His kneecaps, just a fair warning in advance, they can come off if you aren't careful, so you want to bend his leg, but I'll show you that too. But these, yeah, look the same as the regular Mark 50 that came out first, so you've got that option to make him a bit more vanilla if you choose to. Backplate armor then. So once you take off the ray sort of back part, you can swap that out and just put in the plain back armor plate, and this looks the same as the Mark 50, but it does stick out a little bit more in comparison. I'll try and demonstrate that too. Then you've got this little bit that sits above it and it plugs in. This is actually the bit that would plug in and cover the hole for the stand if you had an optional stand. So I'll put that to the side as well. So all of this stuff I will show you how to equip. These two little pieces here are actually for his rib cage. So these little bits here where my fingers are pointing again, you can take those out and replace them with the usual vanilla sort of silver and red ribcage pieces, so they're very tiny, so don't lose them. Then, as I mentioned, we've got the shoulder armor. So this is the regular shoulder armor, which again is just like the Mark 50, so you can make him into a vanilla Mark 50 suit if you want to. And then final piece is the fin piece, which you replace the rays that are on him already with this fin. I personally don't think it looks that cool, but I will still show you it anyway. There we have the little peg that plugs into the back, and these bits just kind of rest on his shoulders pretty much, and then this just kind of sticks up. It does hinder his head articulation ever so slightly, but I will show you that too. Now onto the figure itself, because that's pretty cool too, and then I'll show you the actual attachments and stuff like that. And the cool bit is the alternate attachments with the other figures. Anyway, so this is the figure itself. Let me move some of the pieces so I get a bit more clearance. And he has the same sort of red, gold, and silver accents as the Mark 50s beforehand, and that's so it's consistent as it should be. And the quality of it is still very, very high. It's very, very cool as well. But there are some small differences here and there that you should kind of keep in mind in terms of how the figure functions. In general, the articulation is actually the same, but I'll still cover it anyway. Depending on which attachment you've got on him, that will hinder the articulation somewhat. But otherwise, it's pretty much a very good follow-up of the Mark 50 figures. And if you have all three, then you have all sets and all accessories to mix and match with. But let's just kind of run down through the details. So you can see the big part is on the back. So you've got the fins coming out. And I'll show you the back detail here. So they kind of look like legs or arms. These can actually move. So I want to show you that right now before I go to the figure articulation fully. So you can kind of move this. Both these two top ones are the same. So you can move these back and forward like that. And then kind of maneuver them in different angles like so. They can pop off of the joint if you want it to. Don't know why, but you can do that too. And then you can move them back like so, about that much for both of them. Then for these pieces, this very right piece and the very left piece are also the same thing, and they move in the same way like so. You might have noticed the armor piece on his shoulder came off. I'll explain that in a minute. So you can see the movement here, and this kind of goes up around that much and then down as well. But you can actually move this down a lot further usually with some small tinkering like so. That's the armor piece full off. And you can maneuver it downwards. I kind of think this looks cool if you want them in a flight pose, which kind of makes these look like little wings in a way. It's not necessarily the way it should be, but I like it. It just kind of makes it look cool for certain flight poses that you want to put them in. So that's the back ray pieces again. So I'm going to reset them back to their regular position. These little bits here, these two tiny bits here, they don't move. It's just these 4 bits that can articulate. Now I'm going to put the armor plate back on. You saw how easy that came off. It's just as easy to put it back on. And the back piece now came off. That's actually usually not an issue. That kind of just stays on. It's probably because I hadn't put it on properly last time. So I'll show you. It came off, and then that's the back piece there. And then what you do, you just plug it back in like so. And it fits securely for the most part. It just came off for my own reason there. Going through the articulation of the actual figure then. So as you saw, the shoulder armor pops off because actually they're supposed to be removable anyway. So what happens is because it kind of collides with the upper part there, it will end up popping off as you see there, it's going to the upper limit, and you push it more and then it will pop off like so. So if you go back to the vanilla armor piece, it's gonna get you more range and let him put his arm straight up. But with this piece on, it's not gonna let you do that, and that's okay. It's expected with this sort of piece. And then of course you can see the details of this little bulge and stuff here as well. With it on, you can see he twists like so. It does come off a little bit easily at times. Again, it really just depends how far you've pushed up his armor. I've also twisted his bicep there, which again is hindered if you have this piece on. You can see, let's bring his arm there. You can see his bicep swivel right there. If you have this armor piece on, it's going to be stuck, and if you push more, then yeah, the armor comes off. So reset it back to the normal place, and then you can get the armor piece on like so. So it's a bit fiddly at times, but you'll begin to understand it as you play more around with this figure. So I showed you actually the elbow, which is there. I'm going to leave that armor piece just there. And then of course with the hand, he can twist his hand like so and bring it up. So these aren't hindered by anything, it's just purely the shoulder bit and the swivel. Crunch, then I can still show you the crunch even with the back piece equipped. It's not really going to hinder anything, but it's easier if you just remove it. With this kind of piece attached, you're probably not going to have him crunched anyway. You have the same sort of gap that occurs with the Mark 50 because it's pretty much the same figure. And then leaning back like so. And I'm going to take this off because it's a little bit easier to just show you without it on. You can lean sideways. I'll leave these two bits on just to still show you as well. But of course, keep in mind that you don't want to scratch it too much when you lean sideways. You can twist upper and then lower. Lower is a bit tight for me, as you can hear. Yours may not be. For the legs, he still has the same drop down mechanic as the other figures, so you can pull the legs down a little bit to get extra range to kick up. And he's got a twist like so. Of course, I mentioned that you can change this leg piece here, which I'll show you in just a minute. But to do that first, you can see it kind of comes off there. See the other armor piece came off. That's okay. Bend the leg here. So I might as well show you that articulation, which is good. Same as the regular Mark 50. You want to bend his leg a little bit back in order to replace the thigh armor. But I'll show you that very, very soon. And of course, you got the ankle swivel there, and it moves up and down, and then the toe. So this is all pretty much the same as the other figures before it. So that's his articulation. When I mentioned there's some sort of hindering, that's actually with the head, which I didn't show you, but without the armor, let's just kind of show you quickly. It goes up, down, side to side, and it looks left and right. Now with this piece, let's put it back on. If I can get the hole lined up. Yeah, there we go. You can see nothing really stops his head moving back, so it's fine. The fin though, on the other hand, so now I'll show you how to do that. The fin, you grab that, and like so. There we go. So you can see the fin being attached stops his head moving back just a little bit. It's max damage, not max damage, but it's almost maximum range. But you see it starts grazing the back of his helmet ever so slightly. Let's bring that forward a bit, ever so slightly. So you want to be mindful of that so you don't end up scratching the paint on either one of these. More concerned for the helmet itself. I don't think it looks that great anyway. It's a bit of a weird attachment, but it's one that was included for this set. So let's take this back off. There we go. Now I'm going to detach all his other armor pieces so I can give you a more naked look of this Mark 50. So what you do is you take off that bit there. They come off relatively easily. And that bit there. So I'll give you a closer look. Now you got the two holes there. And then for his armor on his thighs, bend his leg back a little bit. And then you just kind of pry them off like so. Your kneecap might come off if you don't bend it too much, or just because you've accidentally clipped it. The kneecap might come off, and I can show you that as well on my one. And it's just on a little peg, so don't be too worried if that happens. Just plug it back in, and it's all fine. Then let's do the same with his right leg. There we go. And there you go. His legs are actually etched with R and L as well. I guess that's what they it helps them when they're in the manufacturing process. And this kind of gives you a better look at the skeleton of this figure as well, which you don't normally get to see. And I just think that's a little bit interesting. So just take a moment and kind of take a look at it and enjoy the engineering of it in a way. It's kind of worrying actually, because let me try and move his leg a little bit like so. So it's basically on a ball joint here up into the thigh, but this bit here, when it connects, it's not that thick. So I worry that one day there's going to be something that happens and it just snaps right where my fingers point. It's very difficult to see because he's very thin. So I hope that never ever happens to me or anyone actually, because these are pretty expensive figures. But it's a cool little thing to kind of notice. But this is basically naked Iron Man Mark 50 without any of the back pieces, everything just been removed from him. So let's make him look a bit more like the regular Mark 50 without all the attachments. So I'm going to get the regular shoulder armor for his right arm. Just line it up and plug it in like so. This still can come off relatively easily because that's just the way this figure is made. For the regular Mark 50, they're just glued on, I suppose. Get the other side, same thing, just plug it in like so. So of course, like I said, I mentioned it can come off a little bit easy, so just put your finger there and you can get his arm up much higher than you could with the attachment of the Ray piece, which was this shoulder armor. Let's bring that down again. So you can see we're going with the Mark 50 vanilla look. It's coming along. What we then do is we get the small ribcage pieces, and then you get those and align them up as well. So this one should be for this side. Hopefully I can get that. This is a very small piece, so you don't want to lose it or anything like that. I hope it's the correct side I've got. I may not have got the correct side, so let's try the other way. There we go. There. And then the next piece for the other side. Like so. So it fits quite nicely. You do get a little bit of the lines showing. If you look very closely, then you're going to know that piece comes off, but actually it looks fine from a good distance. So coming along quite nicely. Then let's go to the thigh armor. So the thigh one, we want the right one, so it says again R inside, so you know which one it is. Line it up. Remember, if your kneecap comes off, don't worry about it, just put it back on. It's just on a little peg. Do the same thing with the next leg, like so. So I'll show you just the kneecap once more, so it comes off quite easily. And there you go, put it back on. That's the front of this Iron Man Mark 50. If you want to leave it like that, you can do. But why should we? We've got the back piece to do as well. So the back, if you recall, or I had an eagle eye, this has little silver bits on the regular version, and this is what the back plate is for. So all you do, you can see the little holes there, you line it up like so, and then plug it in, and then you've got the back piece. Now this protrudes just a little bit. You can see just here where the silver bit is, it sticks out just a little bit more, whereas the regular Mark 50 figure is a bit more flush with that bit. But don't worry too much about it, it's fine. You've got that one little piece there. Now if you want to keep him as a Mark 50 regular suit, and you have a stand, you can just plug the stand in there. But we've got that little piece which is somewhere here, right here, and we can plug that in to cover it up if you don't want to use the stand, or you're using a different, the claw stand. So then you've actually now got a Mark 50 vanilla version with you too. This is actually a kind of like a bonus, you could say, because the Nano Weapon Set 1 that came out before this, you're not able to get a regular Mark 50 out of it because of the boots. So this one, actually, you can still get a regular Mark 50 out of it. Of course, you miss out on some of the extra parts. Then, actually, I haven't shown you how to attach his cannons or his hands. Now, the hands are all the same thing. So, as in, like, they attach like every other figure on the ball joint. But I'll still show you that regardless. So, grab the hand, pull it off, and then let's just grab any hand. This is a gripping hand. And then just kind of gotta line it up, and there we go. It's on. His armor pieces come off in my hand, I can feel. There we go. Put that back on. There. That's his hand. Very simple, very straightforward. Now let's actually change it for one of these cannons. So I'm going to do his right arm. So I've got the right one here, and I'll show you that right now. So what you want to do, this is similar then to the Nano Weapon Set 1, is you want to remove the forearm here. So let's pinch it and pull it off. That's actually come off a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Maybe I've done it a bit more, or maybe it's just quite warm in here. Then grab the other arm, or the cannon that you need to use for this, line it up. So this is the L shape, like so. The handle usually comes inwards. Let's see if I can get that. There we go, and you'll feel it kind of click in place. So there we go, he's now got the two alien cannons, well, one alien cannon attached on the arm, like that. So it's very similar to the Nano Weapon, not the Nano Weapon, they're very similar to the Mark 50 figure, which came with a slightly different cannon and only a single one of those. So that's quite simple actually. It looks like I've got a little bit of paint scuff there if you look carefully. But yeah, that's how you do the cannon swap. So it's very, very simple. And that's actually bringing me to the end of just this Nano Weapon Set 2, of what this box contains and what you can do with it. Remember, he doesn't come with a stand, which I think would have benefited from him, but it's fine. And then, what else can you do with this figure? Well, if you've got Nano Weapon Set 1, or you've got the regular Mark 50 suit, you can use those attachments and mix and match to your heart's content. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put all these attachments, everything to do with this Nano Weapon Set 2, to one side. So I'm going to stand him up if I can, leave him there, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring out the Mark 50 Nano Weapon Set 1, and then I'm going to also bring out the Mark 50 regular version, which came out a while back. Now I won't be able to fit them all in. There you can see side by side, they're all the same figure, they just have different attachments on them because they came with different things, but you can use them all together. So let me just quickly show you this one, bring him forward. So this was what I pretty much have shown you with the cannon. You just remove the arm again and put it onto that, or you can remove this arm, the new one, and put it onto the regular one if you've only got these two, for example. So you can do that. Obviously his armor pieces don't come off, he doesn't have removable ribcage pieces or thigh armor, so you can't use the back attachment on this guy either. He's only got the little cap here for plugging in the stand. So there are limitations on which figure that you've got. But I'm going to put that aside now and then show you that the Mark 50, you can do the same thing actually with, again, the swords. You can put the swords onto this new Nano Weapon Set 2, and vice versa, you can put this cannon onto the Nano Weapon Set 1, just like you can with the Mark 50. Bear with me here, it might not sound confusing, but basically you can mix and match everything. Then you can do the same then actually with these gravity sort of boots that Weapon Set 1 came with, and put them onto this Weapon Set 2. And that is one I want to show you, because why the heck not? So all you do, I've shown you how to do this before, you just grab the leg and then you just kind of argue with it a little bit and complain, why are you taking so long to come off? And then it comes off eventually for you. So it's the same as the arm, same thing then for here. The kneecap might fly off, but don't worry too much about it. There we go. You can plug the leg in. Let's get that in. Let's see. Don't want the armor pieces flying off. There we go. Clicks in place. So I've done one leg just to kind of show you. Then why not change the other arm to a bladed arm, right? Let me take these guys, the wings off of this one, because I know they come off quite easily. Then let's get the arm then, like right here. There we go. Put the figure aside, and then plug that guy in like so. Word of warning again, this thing is very sharp. He's got super sharp elbows. I stabbed my thumb when I did this a few times earlier, and I started bleeding. So yeah, just be careful about that one. But there we go. So now we've got Nano Weapon Set 2 using Nano Weapon Set 2 parts, Nano Weapon Set 1 parts, and I guess you can, if I wanted to, swap it again with the other, but I'm not going to do that because I'm sure you get the point. So really, combining all three figures, you've got a lot of options to play around with. You can do it like one sword, one blade, two cannons, one leg, two legs, however you really want to do it. Of course there are other limitations like I mentioned, so you can't use the wings that came with Weapon Set 1 because of the way they work. They're not compatible with Weapon Set 2. I'll kind of take the back piece off here. Yeah, and likewise you can't use the same sort of back piece on Weapon Set 1. or you can't use either back piece actually on not weapon set, but the regular figure, which is right here. So you are going to need to get all 3 figures if you want to get the regular, if you want to get all parts and all customization options available to you. Now, getting all 3 at this point in time is going to be quite an expensive investment, if you want to call it, because this guy, I think he costs upwards of like, I don't know, maybe nearly $100 or something, and these two retailed for almost that as a regular price because of all the parts that come with. So if you want to get all 3 at this point, it's going to cost quite a lot of money. I don't really want to say how much because it fluctuates on eBay, but that's the only real place that you're going to be able to get them now. So yeah, keep that in mind if you do want to get all 3. You don't have to get all 3. You can just get Nano Weapon Set 2 and you'll get those parts, but you'll still be able to make vanilla Iron Man just without these attachments, and that's okay for a lot of people. For me, I was quick enough to get all 3 of them, so I did, and I think they're very, very cool. If you're a huge Iron Man fan, I mean like immensely huge, then I would recommend them. They are good figures, and all 3 of them, they kind of combine to make really cool stuff. But if you're just kind of like, okay, I'm not too big of an Iron fan, I enjoy it, I'm okay with just one of them, then pick whichever one that you're comfortable with. I'll give the edge to Nano Weapon Set 2 because you can make it into a vanilla figure. Overall though, this whole set of figures is very cool. I don't know if they're going to do a Nano Weapon Set 3-pack or not. You know, there are differences compared to the movies. Like these boots didn't feature in the movie in the same exact visual look. Certain other things aren't the same. It's not one-to-one, but they're very cool concepts and very cool attachments and just quite fun to play around with. I don't know if they're going to do a deluxe set which includes everything into one. That would be a good and I think a wise thing for Bandai to just release and give people an opportunity to get everything in one fell swoop. If they did that, it's going to be super expensive. But all in all, these 3 figures are very, very cool. So if you want to try and get it, by all means try and get it. I got all 3 of mine from Nippon Yasan, and I actually got doubles of one or two of them from CD Japan. They're very good places to buy your S.H.Figuarts figures from, so keep that on your favorites list. Anyway, this was a very long video because there was quite a lot to get through. Before I leave though, let me just bring out the Mark 85, which is the newest Iron Man figure of S.H.Figuarts lineup, and here he is all next to the others. But I'm going to leave it here. Thank you for watching. Do check out my channel for more videos. Like, share and subscribe to this video. If I've missed anything on any one of these 3 figures, especially the new one, because there's a lot to go through, then just let me know. If you have questions on it, let me know down below in the comments below, and I'll try and answer them for you because there's so much to get through with this figure. Thank you for watching though. It's been a great pleasure. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.